two things that's for sure gonna happen in my life. I'm gonna be black and die. Like, like that's not gonna change.
Right.
And so therefore, when I walk in the room, I might be somebody's first representative.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I wish I didn't have to worry about those things, but I do. And I hope that when somebody who looks like me walk into a room before me, that they think about somebody like me have to walk in after them. Okay. And so I do take I take that responsibility very heavily, just because if I'm somebody's first interaction and it was a good one, then the one who comes behind me will actually get a little bit further than I did.
We're honored to welcome Michelle Carter, the Olympic champion who forever changed American shot put by becoming the first U.S. woman to strike gold in the event. But her trailblazing spirit doesn't stop at the edge of the throwing circle. Michelle is a true force of nature in every arena, a powerful advocate for body positivity, a dynamic motivational speaker, and the visionary founder behind both the empowering You Throw Girls Sports Confidence Camp and the beauty brand Podium Cosmetics. And if that's not enough, she also shares her insights as the host of the Podium Life podcast. Prepare to be inspired by a story of incredible strength, undeniable style, and a legacy built on relentlessly breaking barriers.
Welcome to the inaugural season of Making Black History Today. I'm your co-host, Liz.
And I'm your co-host, Porter, and we're so excited to have none other than the Shot Diva herself, Michelle Carter, in the studio today. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Let's talk about Michelle. Let's talk about your childhood. What was it like growing up?
I feel like growing up, I was growing up like regular kids.
Yeah.
To me. Let me say that. Let me say that to me, because people are like, yeah, no. But growing up, my dad went to work like everybody else. Dad went to work until he retired. But his work was just playing football. But my mom was like, he just went to work and he comes home. Okay. And that's what I thought about. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. I am the oldest of three children. Mm-hmm. I have a sister and a brother. And I felt like we were told you had to go outside and play. We've been locked out the house. Got to drink from the water hose. Mm-hmm. Oh, you need to pee, go around the corner behind the bushes. You know, but they
just
treated
a traditional upbringing.
You had to be outside for at least 2 hours. We just couldn't. Just
different than today.
House. Oh, yeah.
Different than kids today.
Now, you guys are from Dallas?
Yes.
Is that right?
My parents are from Dallas. My sister and I were born in California because that's where my dad he played for San Francisco. So I was born in October. So I was born during football season. Ooh. So technically I'm a Californian, but I grew up in Texas.
We're going to claim you as a Texan.
I feel like I'm Texan, but then y'all say I don't talk country enough, and then they say I talk too country to be from California, but it is what it is.
Where did you spend the majority of your time?
Texas.
Okay, well, you're Texan then. Yeah. It's settled today.
Right. She's a Cali Texan.
A Cali Texan.
There you go. I'll make it up on the spot.
Yeah.
And I happen to know you graduated from Red Oak. That's like Hawk Nation out there. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
All right. Go Hawk Nation. Go.
Yes. Shout out to Red Oak.
That's right.
It's totally different from when I was in school.
Yeah, it's different now.
I can imagine.
Yes, but it's growing out there.
So question. So when did you discover that you had this passion and love for sports, for track and field specifically?
I feel like I grew into it. I didn't start out thinking, oh, I'm going to do this and do that. No, I was approached to join the track team because my first sport was soccer. My second was basketball. And then they asked me to be in the track team. And I was like, sure, like, why not? So I joined the track team. I enjoyed it. I did not hate it, but it was something new. And so over time, I got better and better at it. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I just won state as a freshman in shot put and discus. I think I might want to stick with this and see where this goes. And I always tell people I just did the next best thing. And next thing you know, 25 years in the game, 3 Olympics later and a gold medal later I have this whole career just trying something new.
You know, what's really the oddest thing about this conversation is I'm looking at you And I'll tell you just a quick note. I was a upward bound student at SMU.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember your father.
Yeah.
I lived in McIlvaney Hall,
Mm-hmm.
which was right next to the track facilities. And he would be out there early in the morning and late at night. And he was so serious. Everything with this guy was just really serious. He looked like a giant. And I just remember, and every time his name comes up, I just remember his dedication. Mm-hmm. And it was, to me, that helped get me through the program I was in, because I was like, this is hard, I'm quitting. But your dad was like...
So my dad, I tell people 1984 was, the older I get and as I became a professional athlete and how hard it was for me to do what I did. In 1984, my dad had an amazing year. Like, it's unreal what all he did in one year. So 84, he married my mom in April. He had, he married my mom in April, graduated in May, made the Olympic team to LA in 84, made the Olympic team, was drafted into the NFL, won silver at the 1984 Olympic Games in shot put, and then had to turn around and pack up his bags and go to San Francisco for training camp, played a full season, and then they won the Super Bowl.
And for those of you who don't know, this is Michael Carter, the 3-time Super Bowl champion for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yes.
I sure wanted him in Dallas.
I know. I was like, y'all, if my daddy would have played in Dallas, you know how spoiled I'll be.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I would be Dallas royalty, okay?
You are Dallas royalty. You are Dallas royalty.
But you know, there's something about the Cowboys here. No, win or lose,
right?
People love the Cowboys.
We can always lose, but they're gonna always honor a Cowboy.
We support the Cowboys. Win, lose, or draw.
Exactly, it doesn't matter. Like it. I'm like, dang, Daddy, you had 1 year here. We could have been like on a whole other level. Anyways, but yeah, so yeah, that was like an amazing year because not only were you in college and you played 2 full seasons, 1 full football season, 1 full track season, 1 full professional season, 1 full track season, and an Olympic Games.
Wow.
In 1 year, graduated from college and got married.
Yeah.
That's
dedication.
A lot. And so my daddy, he's a workhorse.
Yeah.
And he didn't understand, well, I did this. I'm like, listen, I'm not you. I want a life. But my dad did have a unusual work ethic to the point where whatever was on his mind, he was willing to do whatever he needed to do to get that done. And he did that.
Well, it sure did transform and transfer, obviously, to you because you had to have that same level of dedication. I mean, you're a gold medal Olympian.
My dad, he could only get silver. I know he did his best.
Speaking of that, so you two are the only daughter-father to medal in the Olympics. Is that right?
I believe so. There might be one other. I think there might be one in equestrian.
I think y'all were the first, though.
I think we were the first.
Yeah.
I think we were the first.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's talk some about your dad being your coach and how that worked.
I still love him. I always tell people that I still love him, but my daddy got on my nerves.
Yeah.
Because
I imagine
it's an interesting dynamic. Because number one, the father-daughter relationship is always an interesting dynamic alone, and then father-coach, but father-athlete, but coach-athlete is a whole nother dynamic. And so my dad used to tell me when I come to practice, I'm coach. I'm like, but you're my daddy. I go home with you and I rode here with you. Like, how do you want me to separate the two? And because I'm going to take everything you say personally because you're my dad.
Right.
And over the years, I understood that he only pushed me the way that he did because he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself just yet. And he wanted the best for me. But then also, too, with my dad being a man and all he did and who he was in sports, he had to understand that I am not him. I am not him. And there were things that we were going to have to do different. And once he understood that, our relationship got better because he didn't try to train me like how he trained. Now he had to learn how to train me how I need to be trained to be my best. And once we got on that path together, everything else was easy from there because he didn't have to push me as hard and I didn't go against what he was trying to do so much. Everything kind of lined up and we was on the same page, just kind of riding this ride together.
Have a degree from the University of Texas.
Hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em.
Hook 'em.
In kinesiology, is that right?
Yeah, I have a minor in kinesiology.
Okay.
My major is in youth and community studies.
It seems like I read something on a bio of you dealing with dyslexia.
Yeah, so I was diagnosed with dyslexia and ADHD as a child.
Okay.
Yeah, as a child. And so I've dealt with that my whole life too.
Yeah. So let's unpack that for a minute, because you're obviously this dynamic person who's reached far beyond a lot of our dreams. You know, I wanted to be an Olympian. I thought I was a pretty good basketball player and volleyball, and I did a few things, and softball was my calling. During a time where softball was different, the expectation levels and the growth possibilities was just different. The challenge of going to a top tier university and riding the wave of ADHD and dyslexia, what is that like for you in the everyday, going to your classes and that kind of thing? Can you frame that for me?
So going to class for me was not an option. I had to go to class.
Okay.
I had to go to class because if I don't go to class, then who knows what I'm going to learn or pick up or remember. One thing I did do as well is that I stayed in study hall all 4 years of school. So as an athlete, your freshman year, they make you go to study hall.
Okay.
And I was like, listen, I'm going to stay in study hall. And they was like, well, you don't have to. I'm like, oh, no, I have to. Because once I go home, I'm not doing this homework. I'm not studying. I'm not doing these things. And the great thing about the University of Texas as an athlete, I do have access to resources that might be harder for the average student to have a hold of. So whenever I had a chance, I got a tutor. I did all the things because I knew, number one, my goal was to graduate.
Correct.
No matter what I was doing with sports. And so I did the things that kept me accountable to make sure that got done.
And were those self-imposed?
Yes.
Okay.
It was.
All you athletes out here that are starting out and have all of these kinds of diagnoses, you can get through it. Is the conversation that we're having is what I'm hearing from the Olympian. Don't give up on yourself.
I tell the kids, like, everything else you want to do, you get done. And just because this is a little bit hard for you, sometimes the will to want to do it goes away. But if you really want to graduate, you get it done. There's a lot of people who have dyslexia, ADHD, who are geniuses and have done great things. But that's what they wanted to do. But you have to be honest with yourself. Do I want to do this?
Along the same vein, what would you say was your greatest challenge or challenges throughout your career, especially in the beginning when you were getting started becoming a professional athlete?
I remember after I made my first Olympic team in 2008, my first year first team was the 2008 Olympic Games in Beijing, China. I just thought things were just going to roll from there. Like, you make the Olympic team supposed to solidify you and you go on and have this great career. I thought I would have a contract and all that stuff. That did not happen. I made the team, still didn't have a contract. I do not get paid for the Olympic Games. The Olympic Games is considered an amateur event. So the only time you get paid for the Olympic Games, if you technically have a contract with the shoe company or whatever contract deal you have.
Endorsements.
They'll pay, endorsements. They will pay you for your medal, but the Olympics itself, you do not get paid. And once I kind of got past that, I remember meeting my agent in China, and I was at the Nike house with another athlete, and she was like, you want one of the swag bags? I'm like, yeah. So she gave me one. She said, do you want a contract? I said, I do. She said, throw further.
Oh, okay.
So walk us through a training day for you.
Okay. Well, a training day is I wake up in the morning. I normally go to the shot put ring first. And I'll probably be at practice anywhere between 2 to 4 hours. And that's just straight throwing. And then I go to the weight room. And then sometimes I go to the track. I have to do sprints, but then I also have to do all of my recovery. I have to sometimes get a massage. People are like, oh, you get a massage? No, I have to. And my massage is not the nice one rubbing lotion on you making you feel good.
Right.
Like we rubbing knots out my muscles type of massage. It hurts.
Deep tissue.
Deep, very deep tissue.
Yeah.
Then I go to the chiropractor. I went to physical therapy. Because I had like little nagging things over the years. So any given day, anywhere between 6 to 8 hours was normal for me to be training or doing something training related for my career.
You don't know this, but when I was 25, I was actually diagnosed with Graves' disease. So I had hyperthyroidism, and through the treatments and things like that, I suffer from hypothyroidism at this point. So how has that affected your life and your career, having to deal with hypothyroidism?
Yes, girl. So listen, when I was finally diagnosed in 2010, I was like, okay, just take a pill and it goes away. But then over the years, I took a pill and it wasn't going away. And then I started to do my own research, reading up on stuff, finding me a different doctor to find out that I had Hashimoto's, which is the autoimmune form that causes hypothyroidism. So either my actual thyroid gets attacked or the hormones that my thyroid makes get attacked, which make my body reason I don't have enough thyroid hormones. So I'm hypo, where it slides down, so slows down my metabolism, kind of it makes you sensitive to stress. So now that we're going back and looking at the timeline, when did this happen? It started in high school for me, and I didn't know. But one of the signs that I had in high school was that my hair kept breaking off in different places. And it wasn't like an unhealthy break off, like I had split ends. It's just like you wake up one day and your hair is gone.
Oh, wow.
But it wasn't like a bald spot. It was just a short spot. You know, I was trying to be cute.
Right. That's
it was messing up my style.
Dramatic.
So I had to keep my hair pretty short all through high school. I get to college, I wasn't too bad. And then my senior year, I started really feeling the effects of it, but I still didn't know what it was. And so when I finally got diagnosed and going back, I'm like, I actually been dealing with this for a long time. But then once I started getting into sports, I remember going to the doctor. By the way, you can listen to one of my recent episodes on my podcast called The Podium Life. And I kind of go into depth when the moments I'm thinking back of the things that I went through being sick. I didn't realize how sick I was until now. The body aches, the swelling and the bloating, and one day being 20 pounds lighter than being 20 pounds heavier the next day. The same clothes you had on yesterday fit, and you put that same outfit on the next day and it doesn't fit. The one day I'm over here squatting 400 pounds, and the next day I could barely even do 275. Yeah. Like it messed with my body so much. The hand tremors, just the exhaustion. Like I was so tired, and then my immune system would be down sometimes. And at the end of my track season, I would get so sick. It was so sick one time that I had what the old people get when they get older.
What do you mean? It's something with the face?
Not with the face. I get mines on my face. What is it called? It's a
old timers?
Shingles.
Shingles.
I was trying to think like, I don't know what I was about to say.
But you had it on your face?
It broke out on my face.
Oh, wow.
And I went to the doctor.
Like a patch?
Yes.
Like effect?
Yes, it was all down my face. And I said, what's going on? And he said, you have shingles. He was like, what are you doing? He said, you're 20.
You're stressed.
You should not have shingles. But going through my season and coming to the end, like I would break out with shingles. I would have strep throat. I would just be so sick. Everything just started to manifest. I had to really change my lifestyle.
Right.
But my specialist told me, he said, you're not going to get any better until you retire. And he was not lying. I'm just now starting to feel, oh, this is almost what it feels like to be normal. Not to have the stress of traveling internationally, not the stress of pushing my body to past limits so I could be this great athlete. But now I actually have time for my body to recover, for my hormones to balance out. So I can, I still struggle with some of the symptoms because they don't completely go away. But I feel so much better now than I did back then, just simply reducing the stress in my life.
Yeah. So is it like having a post-traumatic stress, adrenaline, like your expectation is always here, so you have to meet that, and now all of a sudden you don't have all of that, but your body's still...
No, my body don't want to do nothing. My mind and my wheels like, go do this. Okay. But my body's like, girl, with what energy?
Right. Okay.
I could wake up, like everybody has 100% tank that you wake up with every day. When you're supposed to go sleep and recharge, you got 100%.
Sure.
I will wake up and recharge and wake up with 30. I will wake up and recharge with 50.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I will wake up, recharge, and I may only have 10. And you don't know what you're going to wake up and feel like when you wake up in the morning. You just got to wake up and be like, okay, what can I what do I absolutely have to do today with the energy that I do have?
What's the treatment protocol for?
You take a pill every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
It varies, but taking a pill, finding things that keep your stress levels down.
Okay.
Now, knowing that it can mess up with your digestive system, you got to make sure you take good probiotics and keep great gut health, because that helps regulate a lot. Me adding kombucha to my diet made a big difference in how my stomach felt every day.
God, I have tried to drink that
I
stuff.
love
and
it.
It's just,
I love it.
It's like drinking vinegar.
I don't know why. I enjoy it. I don't know why. But sauerkraut's not my favorite, but I'll drink kombucha.
wow.
But you have to,
Wow.
it's like now my body's a stranger to me and I have to relearn it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what used to work, what you try to do no longer works. And then your body can vary day to day. So you have to just be mindful of what you wake up with and making sure you put things in place to have more good days than bad days.
Sure.
And it's pretty much just going back to just honoring your body. I feel like we live in a society today where we push ourselves past limits we shouldn't be pushing ourselves past.
Let's go backwards a little bit. Let's go to the first Olympics where you said, which I had no idea. I didn't know Olympians were amateurs. That blows my mind.
I know.
But let's talk about how the contract process works. How does that work?
A shoe sponsor or a sponsor, a company, at this point in time, any company has to find you worthy enough to pay you to represent them.
So
You go out to them, or do they come to you, or is it both? Is
It could be
either?
both. Because some companies nowadays, social media has changed the game. That's why you see the athletes today. They're making. I should have came at a different time.
You came at the right time.
I know. But it's like they get to make so much money because they could just be connected to anybody, any company. But when we were coming out, like you had to be good enough to get the shoe contract. That's pretty much how everybody only really made money was through a shoe contract. And those companies had to find you good enough to represent them. They don't want to sponsor you and then you never make a team.
Yeah.
And then they don't want to sponsor you and pay you a certain amount of money and you never get a medal. And so back in those days, you really were more approached with the contract once you've done well. So in 2009, when I made World Championship team and I was the first American to make it to a finals in my event at that time, and Nike called me the next day, was like, so what's up? And I'm like, about time. But
Right.
But you had to respect the process. You had to be worthy of that. They just didn't give money to anybody. You had to be in a certain position and be good enough to get paid to do what you do.
Well, let's go to 2016.
Yes.
To the Olympics in 2016. Let's talk about like getting there, because that was your third one, right?
That was my third Olympic.
That was your third one.
Yes.
So let's talk about what that was like going in for the third time and what it felt like when you were going up. Just so you know, I was watching.
Yeah.
I was watching
it too.
And I was standing there myself. I was ready. I was like, we did it. Yeah. So let's talk about it.
Yes.
Wow.
Woo. I was running around the house. I was like, we won. Yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
The tension of it, and I'm like you, because I recently viewed that, and I remember when I watched it when you were actually competing in real time, and I was just like, come on, you got to do this for all the sisters. Do this for the brothers.
Get your hair talking.
Right. We need this win. And you were so like focused, and it was just like, man, I got chills right now because I was like, I was so proud of you. I was so proud. I was like, yeah, her daddy used to train right out the Oh, yeah. There you go. But
Man.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's good. Man, 2016 was a whirlwind. It was crazy.
Yeah.
That year started off amazing. I had indoor season starting February all the way through March. I ended up breaking the indoor American record, was indoor national champion, was indoor world champion, and I hit all the markers. I threw the furthest I ever thrown. I'm thinking to myself, like, this is my year.
Right.
Yeah.
This is it. This is what I've been waiting on. And then 2 weeks after winning world championships, I wake up with pain in my back and I could barely walk.
Oh.
To find out that I had a herniated disc in my back.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor was like, you need to have surgery. And I was like, okay, if I have surgery, what's my recovery time? He was like, 3 months. I'm like, sir, The Olympic Games is in about 3 months. I don't have that type of time. Like, what else do He was like, well, I don't know what you're going to do some research and come back. Let's come and gather with a plan. So I ended up doing some research, and I ended up doing decompression therapy. And I went to my physical therapist 3 days a week. I went to do my chiropractor 4 days a week. I got massages twice a week, and I practiced as much as my body would allow me to. Like, people had no idea. I kind of went into hiding. Wasn't competing. All I had to do was try to get my back healed enough to practice. I mean, just to compete. And so all the way up until the Olympic trials, I have not touched a competition since the first week in March, all the way until about mid-June.
Wow.
If not late June. And so I get to the Olympic trials and I am nervous, but my dad was like, it doesn't matter what happens. If you make the top 3, you make the team. So don't even try to win. Just get in the top 3. So I get into the top 3. At first, I'm in the top 3, and on my last throw, this was the year of the last throw. It was an indoor. I broke the American record and won indoor worlds on my last throw. I get to the Olympic trials. I was in second place, and then on my last throw, decided I wanted to be first, and I threw, and I became first at that Olympic trials. And then I get to the Olympic Games, and during the home competition, I am in second place. And it's the 6 throws in the finals. And I remember if I bomb, I am guaranteed a silver medal. But, I mean, rewind it back, I remember having a vision years ago of me being on top of the podium.
Yeah.
And it's like there's very few times in my life when I know something is going to happen, because how this vision came and the emotion that came behind it. And that every time I saw people winning on podiums, I would just cry.
Right.
Watching commercials, I'm crying. Like, I'm just like seeing people win just did something to me. And so when I got to the Olympic Games and on my last throw, and I'm like, Lord, you gave me that vision. Like, I know I didn't make this up. Now, you got one chance to get this done. Come on, God. If you're going to give me this vision, I need you to come through, because you're not a liar. Remember what your word says. Like, I'm like, listen, Lord. But, and I remember just thinking to myself, Michelle, just do the one thing you need to do. And that was for me to be patient in the middle of the ring, to allow my lower body to create more power to transfer to my upper body to throw. So when I get into the ring, it was like the whole world just quiet.
Because New Zealand thought she had you.
She did. That's my girl. I love her. But she was just like, yeah, I'm number 1. I'm like, girl, it's not over yet.
For a few minutes?
It's not over yet. Like, it's not over till it's over. So a lot of people be like, well, at least I'm in this place. No, I have one more throw. And then she still had to throw after me.
She did.
So I remember going to the ring. It was just quiet. And all I was thinking, like, Michelle, stay back. Stay back. So I get into the ring and I throw. And I remember feeling that throw and how it left my hand. I was like, before the shot put even left the ground, when I turned around after that, I was like, yes, like, that's it.
That's
like,
a good one.
Felt it.
That's it right there.
And so now I'm outside the ring. I'm waiting for my throw to come up, and I am just nervous. My heart's beating fast. I don't know what's going to happen. And then my name finally went up, and I had a number 1 next to my name. It said number 1, M. Carter, and then NR next to it. And the NR stood for national record. And so in that moment, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. But I had to play it cool, because Valerie still had one more throw. And I am a true believer. Don't celebrate too soon, because I am the type of athlete, oh, you think it's over? Yeah. Watch that.
Like she did.
If I have the last throw, you're not winning. Yeah. And so she got into the ring, and right then, from the time when she threw, I knew it wasn't one of her better throws, because she rushed the middle. But of course, we got to respect the process. We can't really see how far it is. So when her name goes up and there's a number 2 next to it, and I just remember saying to the Lord, really? Like, this is how you gonna do this? Like, this is not the year I planned, but apparently the job still got done. It's not the way that I thought. And so in that moment, it made everything that I fought for, everything that I went through, worth it. And then seeing all the responses that I got from complete strangers, and even from family or friends, it's like, I didn't realize how much that moment meant, not just for myself, but to others who have been watching me over the years. And people who never would have probably related to me now can relate to me in some type of way from hearing my story, knowing what I've done, seeing what I accomplished. And they can feel a sense of proudness because I went there to the world and represented my country in a lot of different ways.
How aligned your style of shot put to your father's way of doing it, because here's me. I'm looking at the videos and I'm saying, at a moment there, it's almost like you guys merge with the shot put, and I wasn't drinking or nothing, and I looked at, but I was really into watching the video, and I see that. So do you actually mimic the style? Were you actually channeling Dad right there?
No, because I never felt like I had to be my dad. I never felt like that. He never put that on me.
Okay.
Now in our throwing style, we did the glide, which nowadays you see spinners, people just running around in circles in the ring, honestly. But gliding is one of the true forms of truer techniques.
Right.
And there's positions that you have to hit. The better you hit the positions, the more power you create. So if you look at, people would do side-by-side comparisons of me and Valerie as well. And so we hit very similar positions. But my dad was definitely a technician in his sport. Like, you can't really find too many throwers who had better technique than my dad. And so he transferred that over to me. And so therefore we do look very similar in our styles. There's little nuances that are different from at the very beginning, at the very end. But on most gliders, the middle is going to look the same amongst all of us.
Yeah, I think on yours, the one that you got the crown, that's what I'm going to call it. I think your leg goes up a little more. It's a thing y'all do with this.
Right.
Once you secured that throw and you're number one and the gold is there for you, what is the next step when you come down out of the field? And what are they doing here? Can you walk me through that?
So the very first thing that you have to get prepared for is a media frenzy.
Sure.
I have to go through so many things. So I just remember, you win, we're taught, go look for your coach or a coach to give you a flag to get ready for your pictures. And then you have the media on the field and you have to deal with them. And then you talk to, I gotta go kiss my daddy, and then other, friends and people are up in the stands that you speak to. And then eventually you're ushered off into the back to the car room to gather your stuff. And, for us, we had to put on our uniforms and we have protocols we have to do. And then you go through a maze of just media. Now, keep in mind, the competition started at 10 p.m. for the finals.
Wow. Right.
So by the time we finished, it was probably after midnight. And then I go through all of this media and it's question after question, question after question.
Sure.
And you're just answering all the questions. And then what made that moment special, like at the end of my media questioning that was inside the stadium, Trey Hardy and Sonia Richards, who are both commentators for NBC, but the three of us went to the University of Texas together. So when I went through the media and I went to the very top and I see those two there, so we're in the huddle screaming and jumping and talking about all the things, and everybody's looking at us like, what are they doing? But it was like this moment where we understand what it takes to do. Like, Sonia was a medalist, Trey was a medalist, and we all had this moment together. So that was one of my favorite moments to go back to. But then after that, there's more media on the inside.
Right.
And then eventually I was like, I'm tired. I'm hungry. I want to go back to my room because now I have a 6:00 call time to get ready in the morning for more media. But in between there, I did have to do my drug testing because so once you get selected for drug testing, there is someone who follows you the entire time until you actually use the bathroom. So I had to cut my media short on that side so I can go use the bathroom, go through my drug testing so I can go on and go to my room and get ready for that. So the next 3 or 4 days, it was straight media, like just media. I don't know what happened. Like, I tell people I was booked for the next 3 years off of that one day.
Yeah.
It was a whirlwind after that.
Now, I would, as they say in the church, I would be remiss if I didn't ask this question and a little bit of probing just because I'm nosy sometimes. Talk to us about drug testing. I hear it's pretty relentless amongst preferred athletes, certain athletes preferred. I'm using my terms that roll around in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But talk to us about how that works.
Man, I do not miss those days of 5 o'clock knocking on my door to pee in the cup. I do not miss those days. So
you mean like coming to your house?
My personal house at any given moment, I am not giving a warning. All I know, if she knock on my door and wait an hour, I better have met with her within that hour window.
Wow.
If I did not meet with her within that hour window, that's a missed test. And if I get 3 missed tests, I get a violation of a doping violation, because now it looks like I am avoiding drug testing.
Now, I would,
if I was still a competing athlete today, I can get a phone call right now saying that they're looking for me, and where am I? And I have 1 hour to meet them. And and I will have to meet them to provide either a blood sample or a blood sample and urine sample.
but the pee police is a real thing.
The who? Oh no, it's a real thing. Okay. But the thing is, we get tested the most in America because the testing system is here in America. Okay. A lot of people in the other countries don't get tested as much as we do, and some of it's on purpose, and some of them may not have the resources. But we American athletes do get tested at a higher percentage than other athletes around the world. So I just want to put that out there, and that I am a person who has benefited from that. Like I told him, if one more person get caught in 2012, your girl got a medal.
So how did you celebrate? Was there a cocktail? Was there what kind of food? What
Wheaties?
A special juice?
I wish Wheaties was still a thing like it was. I need my own Wheaties box, right?
Your Wheaties box.
We need Michelle on the Wheaties box.
Look, come Wheaties. What are y'all doing,
What is going on?
Come on, marketing. What are you doing?
It's funny because I didn't even really get to celebrate in that moment. Mm-hmm. But the little things that I did get to celebrate was like with my teammates. So when I got back and my teammates saw me, because I was the first day of track and fields. I was the first medal received in track and field. So if you don't set it off right, like I set it off for the team, and my teammates were excited for me. And that was like a great moment to spend with them, because a lot of us been on so many teams together. And to start it off like this, it was crazy. So I still actually really haven't celebrated that moment, just simply because life has just been going. But every time I just think about it, I'm just like, I did that. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's my story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know Dad was ecstatic. Your mom and the family and everybody who thought they had anything to do with you, it must have been
They did. It was a whole situation. So I remember my mom didn't come on this trip because the logistics for Rio was going to be a little crazy, and it wasn't going to be as safe for my mom to be by herself. And so, because my dad was a coach, so he had to be in a certain area. Then my mom would have been by herself, and then we all would have been too spread out. And so my mom had a watch party at the house. with close friends and family. So hearing the story that they experienced on their end, because they were watching it on TV, but then, you can't watch it on TV. You had to watch it through the internet.
Correct.
And then right before my last throw, the internet went down.
Oh.
It paused, and the little circle was going, and they're all freaking out, and they're going, and my little cousin, he's looking on his phone, and he was like, she won.
He messed it up for everybody.
And they was like, no, she didn't. And they was like, he said, no, she won. And then all of a sudden it refreshed, and they saw it, and they was screaming and going crazy. It was such a great video to watch, because I was like,
somebody filmed it?
Yeah, somebody filmed it. And so it was such a great moment to see my friends and family join in on that moment, even though they were so far away. And then when I got back home, there was like a little airport celebration, and just like, these little moments that I've had with people and groups of people in my hometown of Dallas, Texas.
Yeah. You had the accent right there.
I know. I know. Dallas, Texas. But it's great because I do truly believe that life isn't just lived for you.
That's right.
Life is better lived with others. And when you allow others to join in your life and to be a part of it, and allow them to just enjoy what the piece they have, like, it makes life that much better.
And at what point, Michelle, do you transition from the responsibility of being a Black woman representing all of the sisters all over the globe. In fact, when people see you, they see Michelle is the Olympian, but she's sister.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there is a certain level, or must be, I feel there's a certain level of responsibility to that recognition. How do you deal with that on a daily basis?
What's the saying? There's two things that's for sure gonna happen in my life. I'm gonna be black and die. Like, like that's not gonna change.
Right.
And so therefore, when I walk in the room, I might be somebody's first representative.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I wish I didn't have to worry about those things, but I do. And I hope that when somebody who looks like me walk into a room before me, that they think about somebody like me have to walk in after them. Okay. And so I do take I take that responsibility very heavily, just because if I'm somebody's first interaction and it was a good one, then the one who comes behind me will actually get a little bit further than I did, because now there's been a little bit more pavement for them to walk through.
When did you retire, and why did you decide to retire at that time? And what does retirement look like?
Yes, I retired in 2022. I wanted it to be 2021, but since COVID happened, pushed the Olympics back, which put my retirement date back, which put me on a whole nother path. I didn't realize I missed the 2020 Olympic Games to defend my record, because I found out I had a tumor in my ankle, had surgery, and didn't make the Olympic Games. But then I was still signed to my contract, and they gave me one more year to go for world championships. And I still wasn't back 100%. But I wanted to walk away on my own terms. I didn't want to be pushed out the sport. And I still probably could have came back another year and finished a whole nother quad. But to be honest, I didn't want to anymore. I did that for 25 years of my life. I was ready to move on. And so now I had to relearn myself, because I realized I made a lot of choices based off, I got to wake up and go to practice tomorrow. I got a track meet to go to. I got to train. I got to do this. I got to save my energy. And I remember the first time I went roller skating, because I was saying, I wanted to go do something fun. I don't know what I'm going to do. I said, I'm like, I can go roller skating. Like, I don't have to not go. And I haven't roller skated in almost 20 years. Wow. And I was like, I'm about to bust my butt. This is about to be horrible. But then I got out there and it was just like riding a bike. And now I'm like, I actually get to live life without boundaries. I don't have to not do this, risking to get hurt. If I get hurt, it's fine. Right? I can still go do other things. Yeah. And so it's relearning myself. What do I like? What would I do if I didn't have those boundaries? And transition is not easy, because you grieve the life you had, and then you don't know what your life was going to look like in the future. You have a version of what you want, but then there's reality. And so there's that emotional task that you have to go through. I don't care if you have it planned out. You still have to grieve the life that you knew and get used to the life you have now, because it's different. And so I'm just taking each day one by one. I get to try things that I've always wanted to try. Like right now I'm in cosmetology school. I've always wanted to do it. Now I have the space and time to do it. And I love it. So now I'm just trying things. I'm trying to be outside all summer, y'all. Okay. Like I want to go out and do all the speaking. I want to go out and do all the things that I see everybody else having summer vacations and all the summer festivals when I was training in the summertime. Yeah. So it's like I'm ready to just live life and enjoy life, but then also I still have goals that I want to accomplish that I'm working on.
So tell us a little bit about the product that you have.
Oh, this right here, this little old thing. Well, it is called Podium Cosmetics. I have launched my first product in my cosmetics line, and it's a line of lip glosses.
Congratulations.
Lip glosses. Thank you. And I'm super excited, because beauty has been something I have been excited about for many, many years. People thought I was a licensed cosmetologist pretty much my whole track and field career. But now I'm on my way to be a licensed cosmetologist, because I am now in cosmetology school, and I'm absolutely loving it. And I am excited to launch and expand the Podium Cosmetics.
Awesome. I'm going to have to get me some.
Yes.
Where can people find Podium Cosmetics?
At the shotdivastore.com. So on my store, not only do I have my Podium Cosmetics, I have my candle line, and I have a line of jewelry that says I can.
Okay.
So I'm excited.
I wish I had worn my I Can bracelet today.
I know. And I was like, I meant to bring
it.
out a candle and I left that. But I'm like, oh, I have this on today.
Yeah.
So
and it looks amazing.
Thank you.
We watched you on the camera shot when you were winning the gold and you had your face on and your nails were done.
Let's show the nails today.
I know, right?
Like, I don't believe I've ever seen anybody else throw shot put with nails.
I did, man.
Do you know anybody else?
Well, they do now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they do now.
Did you break one on the
not on that throw? Like, I had them short. I had them short.
Okay.
At that time, I had them short because I didn't want any problems.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't want to be all the way in Brazil and have a problem. Let me just keep them short. But they were cute. They were decked out in like Olympic themed. But
I saw the blue. I saw the blue. A lot of blue on it.
Did. But the whole thing is, I tell anybody, just be yourself.
Yeah.
You get a lot further in life when you're truly yourself. I walked in these doors being myself, and sometimes it was rejected and sometimes it was accepted. But I look at each person as their own cup of tea. Everybody drinks a tea, but everybody don't like the same tea.
That's right.
Some people like chamomile, some people like lavender, some people like oolong tea, and some people can't stand it. But then some people mix their own teas, and that's what they drink. So you may not be somebody's cup of tea, but somebody's going to like your tea.
Or kombucha.
Right? Kombucha. But if you bring your full self, then you give people the opportunity to accept you as you are. And when you can be yourself, you get a lot further in life because you find the right people you need to partner with in life because you show up as yourself.
Well, let's talk about confidence. Is there a point in your life where you're like, hey, I love me, I'm good with me? At what point did that happen where you were like so confident and you decided that you walk into a room and you own the room and you're going to share that with the rest of the people in the world? When did that happen? How did that happen?
To be honest, I don't know. I don't know. I think part of it was almost like borderline delusional because when you have faith in something, you got to believe in something you don't even see yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So even with being confident, you have to trust in yourself to do things that you haven't even done yet. You have to trust that when I walk into this door, something great is going to happen that I don't even know what's going to be because I haven't seen it yet. So there's a level of a little touch of delusional, a little touch of just let me just go out here and try, because I feel like confidence is very fluid. You have it 1 second, you don't. You may have it for a little while, you may not have it for a while, but when life happens to you, your confidence change. Because now I believe that confidence, especially self-confidence, is a level of trust that you have in yourself to get the job done. Now, some people have so much confidence in themselves, like you even shouldn't be that confident in yourself. You know good and well, you're not going to get that done.
Right. Absolutely.
But they have the audacity. And so sometimes you just have to have the audacity to believe in yourself, even if there's something you haven't even done, seen, or heard yet. But you have the faith that you can follow through to find out if this is going to be something, because nothing's guaranteed. Everything you go after is going to be an if until it actually happens. And so I always just walk into places and spaces knowing that I am a 5'10" plus size Black woman that you're going to see every time I step into the room. I normally wear heels, so that put me about 6'2", 6'3" sometimes. And you can't miss me if you wanted to.
Right.
And so I have accepted, I think so a lot of times we need more acceptance than confidence. It's accept that this is who I am. This is what I have to offer. And walk into a room and see who likes it. And those who like it, we're going to rock. Those who don't, nice meeting you, move along.
I had 2 words in my mind, but I'm not going to say them.
Okay.
You like it? Yeah.
All right.
So you have a minor in kinesiology and you got your degree actually in youth and community studies. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about your You Throw Girl Sports Confidence. Did I get that right?
You got it right. You Throw Girl Sports Confidence Camp.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so that's my baby. We're actually going into 8 years of doing this camp. And I wanted to have a girls' camp that wasn't boring and that wasn't just about sports.
Okay.
And one of the things I get asked about a lot from parents was, how are you so confident? And I thought they were just asking in general, but it's a loaded question when it came to confidence when parents were asking me. One, I was one of the first Black athletes doing what I was doing at a high level that you didn't see many do. And then on top of that, I am a plus size woman.
Well, let's go back. Doing what you were doing. Go into that specifically say
throwing
what
the
that
shot
is.
put. Okay. I was one of the few Black women that were throwing the shot put at a very high level. And so doing that in a sport where you don't see a lot of Black people, being a plus size woman and actually looking like a woman for female sports sometimes in the beginning, early stages, wasn't really, you didn't see it often. Because even for me, when I started, people was like, you have to look rough and tough to be considered serious. I'm like, for what? Like, that's not cute.
Who says that?
A lot of people do.
Wow.
If you go back to earlier athletes, female athletes, they always have more of a masculine, more rough and tough because they feel like they had to be accepted because it was a male-dominated field.
Okay.
And so you had to go against and play with the boys, you know, so you can't be too cute and play with boys.
Right.
I always loved the dress and the makeup. And so these parents were coming to me because they have these girls who are taller and bigger than the average woman. So you stick out like a sore thumb everywhere you go. But I carried myself well. And it was like, how do I get my daughter to do what you're doing? Okay. Not just sports. Like, how can they be confident in who they are? Because I've always seen you take care of yourself. You do this. You walk into a room. You own it. Like, how do I get my daughter to do that? And so I just started thinking about things that I was taught as a kid and what my parents installed in me and what I saw missing. And that's where I created the Sports Confidence Camp from, because I want sports to be the main focus because I believe that I have a knowledge and a skill that can be passed on to others. But also that confidence piece, I feel like if I can teach young girls to be confident in who they are, period, no matter what they add on top of it, they'll succeed. So at my camp, we do etiquette classes. We have a mindset class. We learn how to set goals. We do self-defense. We go through what I call the Shot Diva's Beauty Workshop. Learn how to take care of yourself as a female athlete and learn how to fix yourself up however you want to fix yourself up. And I like to have the girls get dressed up and take them to a really nice dinner to use the skills that they learn on how to use the plate setting in front of you. And so we have all these different things to just build confidence so they have tools to go into when they come across a situation. Because the one thing that I push forward with them is when you decide to be great in whatever field you go into, it opened doors for you to walk into. And you want to feel confident when you walk into these doors. So you have this tool belt, these toolkits that we've given you at the camp that you can use at any time.
So how can these young ladies, how can people find out about the camp? How to go to the camp?
Yeah.
Well, the camp is July 14th through 19th. I think I got the dates right. My website is under construction, which is normally at shotdiva.com. But if you go to my Instagram, at Shot Diva on Instagram, and you go to my bio, the link for the camp is there.
Okay.
So, what are the criteria for the camp?
The camp, yes. The criteria is girls from 8th grade to 12th grade.
Okay.
I do the grade because I was always a year younger than everybody in my grade. So I was like, just do the grade and we can get all those girls in there. But I think going into that 8th grade to 9th grade year and going through high school is a very challenging time for female athletes because your body's changing, you're getting to know yourself, but then you also are starting to specialize in your sport. And I want to make sure they have the tools to execute the best way they can. And what I've added to this past year and going into this year is we do weightlifting sessions. Okay. Because a lot of girls don't know how to lift weights, and there's still a belief out there amongst these high school coaches that I look in the camera on that one, that girls should not lift weights, and that's a lie. But then we also have to remember girls' equipment is different than guys' equipment. And then one of the new studies, like I'm about to nerd out right quick, is that when girls go through puberty, their hips spread. And when their hips spread, their muscles and ligaments in their knees become unstable as they adjust to their bodies. So girls are at high risk of ACL injuries because of that. So now with that research, we have to make sure that girls have the knowledge to protect themselves while training and lifting weights, but then also make coaches aware that, hey, when girls are going through these moments, you do have to make adjustments so their body can grow and heal just like another growth spurt, and not get them hurt as they're going on their sport journey.
Strange is that odd. You're talking about the dynamic of a girl's body and the pubescence, growing through pubescence to early adulthood. And recently, one of the top drafts in the WNBA suffered a ACL tear, season ending. And the article that I read went right into the whole transitional period of from pubescence to being a full-blown woman, and how the challenges are there for the body.
So when you reflect on your legacy and your journey, you talked to us about a lot of firsts that you've done and that really special year you had in 2016. What would you like your legacy to be? How do you want people to see you or remember you?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I think it's that I didn't give up. Because there were so many times I could have given up. I could have said I made one team and that was good enough. I got sick and I could have gave up then. I got hurt and I could have gave up then. But if they want to say anything, is that I didn't give up and I'm a fighter. When I was kind of telling you about that last episode I just recorded, when I was thinking about it, like reliving these moments, I think I'm now far removed to kind of really reflect on what I've done. And each time when things got hard, I press in more. And what they say, diamonds are made from pressure.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'm a diamond. And so I expect pressure. I expect hard times, because with heat comes pure gold. From pressure comes diamonds. So if anything, you don't learn anything from me, just know when you get to those hard times, that's when you press in the hardest. That's when you press in the most, because that's when you're going to get the best final result. So when times get hard, don't quit. Keep going. Keep pushing forward, and you will get a result you will never forget.
I have anything that you feel like is fleeting from you, that you haven't accomplished, that you want to do.
Ooh. Oh gosh. I said I would be open and honest. Like, I want to get married again. I was married, divorced. I want to get married again. I want to have that type of life. I think all the other things, like the goals and the business things, to me, those things are a little bit more tangible, because I can make a list to go get that done.
Sure.
I can't make a list to go find a husband tomorrow.
Right.
That's just kind of like a life thing. That'll be like, that's probably one thing I would want to have on my list. That
so you're available.
I am single. Ready to mingle. Look,
guys, y'all hear that?
And she gonna be outside this summer. Like, she outside all summer.
All summer.
Oh yeah, it's like,
with her boots on the ground. Yeah,
right. And my fan, because it's hot. It's hot in Texas.
There it is.
All right. So, last question. This is the Making Black History Today podcast. What does that mean to you? What does Making Black History Today mean to you?
Oh man, Making Black History is just showing up, being yourself, and giving 100% every single day. We have retraced my family's history, and we found out that my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was a slave in Pineapple, Alabama. He was the slave owner's brother's son. Mm-hmm. And he was very fair-skinned because he was mixed. And he was able to stay in the house, and he had city privileges. He can go in and out the city because people wasn't sure what he was. And so knowing that I came from slave descendants to where my grandfather grew up in Palmer, Texas, and went to the School of Colors, to my dad being the first athlete to have an Olympic medal and a Super Bowl ring within the first year, and then for me to become the first American to win gold in the women's shot put. Like, that's amazing. If I think about all the people who didn't make it, who lost their lives standing up for something, or just lost their lives just simply just being, I'm a miracle that I am still here from my bloodline. So I don't take the fact that I get to do what I do lightly, because we almost didn't make it, but I did. And so being Black history is that we are still here, we are still thriving, and don't sell yourself short because of that, because it's looked down upon sometimes and it's taken for negative, just the color of your skin. But just knowing that you were created like that on purpose, it wasn't an accident, and that just because this is who you are, you can still do great things, but show up all of who you are and don't dim your light for anybody, not even yourself.
I love it.
Well, thank you, Michelle, for being here in our inaugural season of Making Black History Today. We really enjoyed the conversation.
I get your autograph.
Okay. Thank y'all for having me. This has been an amazing conversation. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
And look, I will bring you an autograph picture.
All right, I appreciate it, girl. I'm gonna frame it. Okay, we'll put it in my office.
Oh yeah, with the candles.
So I want some podium.
You okay? Got the podium light. You're gonna have your steady glow candles and your eye can necklaces on it. Did you have the bracelet?
I have the bracelet. Okay. I don't have it on, but I have the bracelet.
I gotta get geared up.
Yes, you do.
I can talk about you. I keep you uplifted, sister. I really appreciate your time with us today.
That. Thank you so much.
All right.
Like, share, and subscribe to Making Black History Today.